This is the Extra Point Podcast from Arizona's family.
The Super Bowl is hitting town. Some big names coming in for the big game. Let's hear from one of those big names. The one, the only, Stephen A. Smith zooms into the Extra Point TV show and Extra Point Podcast. How you doing today, Stephen A.?
I'm doing all right, buddy. How you doing?
We're doing well. Are they your Eagles? Are they officially your Eagles? Is that a green tie?
No, I wouldn't say that. No, I wouldn't say that. No, not at all. It has nothing to do with the Eagles. Just an outfit I felt like wearing today. That's all.
Well, I know you're from Philly. My first job in television 20-something years ago was mailing tapes to your house from CNN Sports Illustrated. So the guy would edit the tapes. I got you. I'd go drop them in the mail. As you watch the Eagles this year, I mean, I watch their defensive line and I say, yeah, what they did to Brock Purdy, I mean, Patrick Mahomes, if he's limping around, he's going to be in trouble. Is this the Eagles' Super Bowl to lose here?
I think so. I think that they're the better team, even though I think it's pretty close. I think Kansas City, with the greatness of Patrick Mahomes, has proven who they are, what they're capable of, and they can't be summarily dismissed. Not to mention that of Travis Kelce, who's the modern-day Gronk as far as I'm concerned in terms of his level of production. He's a future Hall of Fame. He's the best tight end in football, and he's a primary target for Patrick Mahomes. So you take all those things into consideration. I don't think that we can dismiss that. But in the end, the Eagles, they've got a running attack. They've got a passing attack. They've got a quarterback who can throw and run. They've got an offensive line that's considered the best in football. They've got a defensive front four that can get at you with Fletcher Cox and Graham and those brothers. They've got a secondary that can defend stout wide receivers and obviously can guard the interior of the field, or the middle of the field, rather, in between the seams. And so when you look at it from that perspective, I'm just of the mindset that the Eagles are the more complete team. This is their Super Bowl to lose. They can be beat, but it's going to take a superb effort from Patrick Mahomes in order to pull that off.
And Patrick Mahomes, we saw the run late in the game in the AFC Championship game, kind of summing it. Was that Jordan-esque in your opinion?
You could say that. I mean, to have that high ankle sprain, anybody will tell you that's one of the most difficult injuries to overcome. And to see him scrambling for a first down to move the chains and to preserve the ball, to see him throw that touchdown down the middle after scrambling into the pocket and throwing a bullet to Marquez Valdez-Scantling. When you see plays like that, you could say that's Jordan-esque. I usually don't compare the two sports with one another because it requires different things. But at the end of the day, to have that ankle sprain and to go out there and perform the way that he did with three of his receivers down, for crying out loud, and to still be the team that was better than them in the Cincinnati Bengals, I don't think you can say enough about what you've seen from Patrick Mahomes.
And for me, I can't say enough good things about Jalen Hurts after watching him get benched at Alabama. I was watching the game with my two young sons, and we watched that, and I said, boys, some things in life aren't going to go your way. Watch how he handled that, and to see him put it back together and now be playing for a championship again. What do you think that says about the character of Jalen Hurts?
I think he has profound character. I think when you think about what Nick Saban said when he was coaching him in Alabama. He benched Jalen Hurts at halftime. I was at that national championship game against Georgia, and he was stinking up the joint. And Nick Saban benched him in favor of Tua Tagovailoa. Jalen Hurts never said a word. Tua throws the winning touchdown to Devontae Smith, if I remember correctly, to win the national championship over Georgia. And who's the first one running into Tua Tagovailoa's arms and going crazy? It was Jalen Hurts. He gets benched, but still in all, he transfers from the program, leads Oklahoma to the postseason, comes to the NFL, gets drafted in the second round, questions about his passing ability and stuff like that. You heard complaints from everyone but Jalen Hurts. Never said anything. Just goes out there, does his job, puts in the work, plays. He's done. And so when you look at it from that perspective, I just think that you can't say enough about what he's shown you as it pertains to his character. He is the unquestioned leader of the Philadelphia Eagles. Is he the quarterback as a talent that Patrick Mahomes is? Not at all. But he is clearly the leader that Patrick Mahomes is. And he's clearly an individual that the Eagles have profound faith in. And he's somebody that's capable of galvanizing the troops and maximizing the potential that surrounds him, getting guys to want to buy in just because he asked them to. And you can't put a price on that. That is simply something special.
I feel like you're saving your voice a little bit for Michael Irvin this week. Are you going to dial it up once you get out here? What's the game plan to get out here to the desert?
I'll be down there late Tuesday night. I'll be there. We'll be doing First Take from there Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I've beaten up on Michael Irvin enough this season. Obviously, the Cowboys went home. We saw what happened to them as I predicted. Yet again, he was wrong, Mr. Pom Pom himself. And so now, just looking at it from that standpoint, yeah, I'll give him a little break until Friday. And then Friday, he'll do something to get on my nerves, and I'll have to remind him that he has no credibility whatsoever because, he loves the Cowboys so much, and he had to end up falling yet again. Until he picks against the Cowboys wisely, I don't think he's going to have any credibility, but he'll learn eventually.
Well, and debating you, one of our interns, Crystal Stone, actually debated you on your show a couple of years ago against the Cowboys, and now she's out here in the desert. She's studying at ASU and trying to climb her way. Yeah,
I remember Crystal. I'm really fond of Crystal. I think she did a tremendous job when she filled in at ESPN, and she showed a lot of potential. She's reached out for advice from time to time. She's a great girl. She does great things. She's got a bright future ahead of her. I'm just trying to get her from contaminating herself by rooting for the Cowboys. I mean, she needs to understand at some point in time that they're responsible for holding her back. They are literally getting in the way of her career aspirations. You got to get that anchor off of your back. You got to unleash. You got to let it go. It's holding you down. And we all have to make those decisions. It's tough sometimes. Family, friends, and other people. It's tough to let those things go. That's what the Cowboys are for her when all is said and done. And she has to recognize that. And until she does, she's going to climb because she's sensational, but she's going to struggle along the way unnecessarily because she's engaging in the futility, and somebody's got to tell her.
Well, I don't know if it's going to be me because I grew up in the Dallas area, moved to Houston, so became an Oiler fan. Then they broke my heart and moved around, and I thought I was over it. And then Danny White lives here, and I went as Danny White in the third grade for Halloween. He thinks that's super awkward,
just become an Arizona fan. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm trying to. It's tough, man.
You'll win before the Cowboys do.
I don't. Arizona fans. I mean, other than the Diamondbacks in the 0-1 World Series, it's been tough. But you're going to be out here with a lot of Arizona fans, and you've got a book out doing a signing, and just let us know if people want to come out and see you here over the Super Bowl week. Where can they find you?
Well, they can definitely find me. I don't know exactly where they've got me going to sign the actual books. I know they've got me doing First Take Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. People can certainly find me before and after, so definitely they can do that. At the end of the day, I'll be around signing books and what have you. And so, Straight Shooter, I've been very blessed and fortunate that it's a bestseller for the first 2 weeks, the New York Times bestseller, not just the written book, but audio as well. And I think somebody handed me something here, Straight Shooter book signing Wednesday, February 8th, Changing Hands Bookstore, 6428 South McClintock Drive. That's where you can find me. So I'll be there Wednesday at 5 p.m. So they can definitely find me there. I just had somebody hand me that note. I didn't know it off the top of my head, my man.
Hey,
I don't get out to Arizona too much.
Hey,
so I'm sorry about that.
When you come out here, though, you have things like DeAndre Ayton's put back to beat the Clippers, and we all remember your reaction to that. And just talking about from a book perspective, your journey. And I mean, you ascended to the top. I mean, I remember starting at CNNSI, seeing you ascend to the top. You were back out here. I think you were working for Bulls.com for a while, and just your wild road in sports media. What's your message to folks who want to go out on the same road and know what kind of journey is ahead of them?
Be ready to be on your grind. All that glitters isn't gold. I love my job. I love what it entails, but I'm also not shy about putting in that work. Outside of that, understand that the most important thing is to be yourself, because that's the one thing that's sustainable. If you're going to be phony in any way, you eventually get exposed because you're something other than what you truly are. You present yourself to be something other than what you truly are. And that's not something that's going to work in your favor. That'll come back to bite you. So work hard, put your head down, be committed, be focused, be as professional as you possibly can be, and be yourself. And let the chips fall where they may.
And finally here, you're coming out here for the Super Bowl. You're signing at Changing Hands Bookstore in Tempe. What are the chances you might be back out here this summer in say, the NBA Finals, and if Kevin Durant's suiting up in a Suns uniform? What are the chances, in your opinion?
Well, 0 without Kevin Durant. If you get Kevin Durant, then you got a chance. But as presently constructed, no chance. You're not going to the finals. You can cancel that.
You think on Thursday? I'm not a big fan of putting the NBA trade deadline Thursday during the Super Bowl week because my head's going to explode. But do you think he gets out of Brooklyn this week?
I don't know. If I'm the Brooklyn Nets, I wouldn't let him go. He's locked in for 3 more years after this season. I just traded Kyrie Irving. Why can I not hold on to Kevin Durant and see where he can take us with Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, and the rest of the crew that they have in place for the rest of this season? I understand he'll be a little bit older, but before he had Jimmy Butler fall into his knee and cause that MCL sprain, he was averaging 30 on better than 50% shooting, and he was a top 2-3 candidate for league MVP honors. I'm not letting that dude go for just anybody. He's Kevin Durant. And so I'm going to try to hold on to him for dear life. If the Phoenix Suns wanted him, okay, you're not giving me Devin Booker, all right, fine, but you're going to give me CP3, you're going to give me Mikal Bridges, you're going to give me DeAndre Ayton, plus picks. That's what I want. I doubt they give up that much, but that's what it would require from me. I can tell you that much. And so that's just where I'm at with it. That's my mindset.
Yeah, and it's a playoff team if you keep. I mean, I feel like with those two guys from Dallas going back, it's a playoff team. So, hey, thank you so much for your time. If you need any restaurant recommendations, hit us up. Enjoy the Valley.
I appreciate that, but I'm confident I got that covered.
All right, good. Don't pay for a meal either.
Thanks a lot, man.
The Extra Point Podcast is a production of 3TV, CBS5, and azfamily.com in Phoenix, Arizona.